Greetings folks, and I hope you're all walking without rhythm wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And I can say with absolute certainty this is singularly the most anticipated 1/6 scale figure for me in the past few years. Yes folks, it's Inart's take on Timothy Chalamet, aka Paul Atreides, from Denis Villeneuve's first installment of his Dune trilogy from 2021. So, usual format folks, box, accessories, figure, then showcase at the end. And as always, I'd like to send a massive thank you to everyone who supported the channel. And be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe so you don't miss any of the 1/6 scale goodness we've got coming up. And I'd also like to send a massive shout out to William Wang as well, over at One Man's Hobby, for sourcing me this figure. There will be a link to his website in the description below as always. Check it out if you're after anything 1/6 scale. So, regulars to the channel will already be aware of my passion for all things Dune, which started when I was reading the books as a teenager, as a youngster. I only have two other Inart figures in the collection, the amazing Pattinson Batman and the not so amazing Pattinson Bruce Wayne. But I've got high hopes for this figure, as you probably can tell. But enough of my ramblings, onto the box, and let's hope there's no pain inside. It's the usual story from Inart. Superb presentation, I have to say. What you've got is this magnetically clasped box with this sort of translucent slipcover thing going on the front, but we'll stop it from spinning and have a quick look. And I'm going to try and keep this short because I could ramble on about just the box for hours. As I mentioned, yeah, translucent slipcover, and when you pull it off, it's actually gradiated, as you can see. So when you pull it off, it actually reveals the box underneath, but it's full of little subtle design cues and references to the film. What they've done here is they've sort of gone with there's certain echoes of sort of Art Deco, Art Nouveau in the box itself, which echoes some of the themes in the architecture in the film. But as I say, I'm going to try and not ramble on too much. So when you remove this slipcover, and one of the great things you'll notice straight away when you're taking this slipcover off, apart from my face in the background there because it's super reflective, what you've got on the front here is one of the moons of Arrakis, and when you lift this off, that actually becomes the mouth of Shai-Hulud, the sandworm. But yeah, as you can see, it's sort of gradiated in these crimson red colours. It says Inart on the front, 1/6 scale collectible figure, deluxe version, this one. Obviously officially licensed product, so it's slapped with all the relevant information. It says Dune, Paul Atreides on there, and that's pretty much it for the slipcover. So we'll pop that to one side. When you remove that, you are greeted with this beautiful magnetically clasped box. And once again, as I say, I can't say enough about the presentation here. I think Inart have taken it to a next level with their presentation. I love Hot Toys, their presentation, their artisan pieces in particular. The boxes are superb, but it's almost though Inart have dialed it down. And in doing so, they've actually ramped up just the overall professionalism and subtlety. And it's actually a subtle box. It's not in your face, but the detailing is phenomenal. So yeah, what you've got on the front cover here, it says Dune, Paul Atreides. Then you've got this super high gloss gold foil in the background here. Once, as I mentioned, you've got the sandworm's mouth, you've got the dunes going on, and you've got what I am assuming is Paul here stood on a dune with a thumper. Bring it round to the sides, and it's just a continuation of those dunes with the Dune logo there on the left. Same on the right as well, but just minus the Dune logo, just says Paul Atreides in the bottom. On the bottom of the box, you have all the credits and all the warnings and so on. Don't piss this figure off, or it might let the desert have you. On the top, it just says Inart, very subtle, not in your face at all. On the back, that high gloss gold foil is continued with this Dune design. It says dreams and messages from the deep, and you've got Dune across the top there, and then you've got Paul's eyes captured in this horizon Dune in that gold foil as well. Beautiful, I have to say, really, really beautiful. We'll get this turntable out of the way so we can take a look inside, and I am assuming that that the high quality is going to be continued inside here as well. Nothing on the inside here, it's just been left plain, which is surprising actually. Most companies would put something on here. I like the fact that they've left it plain. I think less is more for Inart here, but once you open the box up, you're greeted with this foam inlay. You take that foam inlay out, there is a second foam inlay with all the instructions. You remove that inlay, and underneath you have the figure, or at least the first layer of the figure, because underneath you're going to have the stand and all the other accessories as well. So, and the rooted hair head sculpt, I am assuming, is going to be behind here too. I will try and take this out on camera actually. But I'm going to be super careful. This is the first time I have seen this figure. It literally has just come through the door. It's a brand new figure. So Voyage of Discovery as always. Yeah, there in the background you have the base, all the other accessories, and that rooted hair head sculpt in the container there. So we will do as we always do. We will get all these accessories out. We will dive down onto the table and have a look at everything that comes with your Paul Atreides figure. Okay folks, so accessories out, and as always, Inart have been super stingy with the accessories. No, on a serious note, it's great to see Inart actually wrapping each individual item in its own little plastic bag to protect it, although it does make the whole unboxing experience quite time consuming, but we will crack on. There's a lot to look at here. We'll get the mundane stuff out of the way first. You get the little data card, come name card with a little folding section at the bottom there, and it's got a picture of the figure on there. It says Paul Atreides in that silver foil lettering. On the back there you've got Paul Atreides again and Dune and the release date, and it's saying 2024 there. Now I thought this was 2025. If it was 2024, it could very well be rearranging my best of figures depending on how this review goes, but if it's 2025 then it could be a hot contender for 2025's figure of the year. But yeah, that's the data card. You also get this little card, not sure what that is. It comes with all Inart figures. Don't read the language, so I don't know what that says on there, but that's included. You get the letter of congratulations, the lovely silver envelope, feeling like you've won an award and congratulating on you on your good taste in buying an Inart figure. So that's included, and you get the usual Inart instruction manual. Now, regulars to the channel will know my feelings on this instruction manual. I have had cars with smaller instruction manuals and not as well presented as this, and they cover everything in this super shiny high gloss card that they use for their instruction manuals. Everything is numbered, everything, particularly the hands. Each hand is numbered because each hand corresponds to a particular accessory. Don't go using the wrong hand with the wrong accessory. We won't want that to happen. But yeah, I would normally toss my instructions to one side, as regulars to the channel will know, but I will be going through these with a fine-tooth comb. So yeah, that's the impressive accessory manual, instruction manual rather. What else? Let's start with the hands. Now, 17 hands in total. There's an open palm pair on the figure, a gloved open palm pair. Mr. Go figure is in hand heaven. You know me and my strange hand thing. 17 hands to go out. Let's grab a couple at random to have a look at the kind of detailing and sculpt that we're looking at here. And I have to say, from a distance and up close, these look like material. They look like actual still suit material and not sculpted plastic. They are that well done. The colour is just right. The sculpt is on point with this stitch work. That dark section on the knuckle area is right and has been weathered. The creasing is on point, and even the sculpting makes it look like material. It's just really, really well done. There's weathering between the fingers, lighter sections on the back of the fingers here. Let's grab another one at random as well. Even down to a separate sort of sculpt going on the inside of the fingers to indicate that change in material as well. They're just really, really well done. Absolutely on point sculpt wise, absolutely on point color wise. Can't be faulted, these. Let's grab another one. Yep, just on point completely. The inside of those hands, if the light's catching this, the paint applications are great and the weathering is on point. So that's all the sculpted hands. Let's take a look at the ungloved hands. Now, Only 2 of these, but really, really well done. Skin texturing, the paint applications, there's vein work in there, there's bone structure, reddening to the knuckles there, even down to cuticles in the fingernails, the sculpted in fingernails. And you've got that House Atreides ducal signet ring on the index finger of the left hand there. Really nicely done with those black paint applications to pick out the detailing of the gold colouring. Yeah, so that's the ungloved hand. So let's pop all the hands to one side. We're off to a good start. Those hands are looking very good indeed. What we've come to expect from Inart. Let's take a look at his cowl and hood. Now, straight away on picking this up, the material feels absolutely on point. It is super thin, but it's meant to be super thin. Those who've seen the film will know that this is a very, very light piece of clothing that he wears. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will probably notice straight away that, hang on, look, there's a load of loose stitching hanging down there, but that's meant to look that way. It's meant to look rough, it's meant to look dirtied up and almost made on the hoof and on the fly. And as I say, super thin. The stitch work is really, really nice, holding all the sections together. It's got these 2 sections around the neck here to be wrapped around the neck once it's on the figure. Round the back you have got all the detailing. You've got these 3 sections at the side here. It's not symmetrical. You've got this black section here. It's wired down the front, all the way down the front, right the way up to the neck area here, from the neck area all the way down to the end of the cloak section is wired, so you can have it billowing off in the wind if you're wanting to do that. The detailing on the shoulder area is correct with these sort of overlapping segments and this sort of flap at the back. Thing that strikes me straight away as well on this is the weathering. It's weathered at the base of the cape there, where it's been dragging on the ground. It's weathered at the back if the light's catching this. It's weathered around the hood, and the hood as well is wired. It's weathered across the shoulders. So yeah, overall, the material is right, the screen accuracy is there, the weathering is on point. It's just very, very well done. Nothing more I can say about that. So yeah, that's the cape stroke cowl. We'll pop that to one side. Let's take a look at some of the smaller accessories. Let's have a look at the maker hooks. Now you get 2 maker hooks. They come, I won't say come disassembled, but they come folded up in the box itself. Now they extend out. They're all sculpted plastic, but the paint applications once again are really good here. You've got a small amount of weathering on those blades, but it's the paint applications to make them look metallic are very, very accurate indeed. Metal screws there, I believe, holding the two hook sections. Now they fold out. Now I would say be super careful when folding these out. I have to be very delicate here. The whole thing extends from the handle there, which is sort of sculpted with this grip section, nice paint applications, and even some weathering on the pommel there. But yeah, the whole thing extends out, and then one hook goes up and the other hook goes down. And they fit into place. So yeah, 2 maker hooks there, nicely done. If a little on the delicate side, I would say exercise caution with those. So yeah, that's your 2 maker hooks. You also get, let's have a look at the thumper. Now, nicely done this thumper, I've got to say straight away. What struck me initially when I got it straight out of the box was number 1, the screen accuracy. Obviously they've got it scaled right and on point with the sculpt, but it's the weathering on here again. These brown paint washes on here to indicate the weathering, really nicely done, and it moves up and down as well. So if you're wanting it, although it's a little on the loose side, I would say, that's, as you can see, there's a little bit of a wobble to it, but maybe it twists into place. I will have to check in the instructions, but yeah, that's your 6 scale thumper. Let's have a quick look at Usul, the desert mouse. Now, an instant favourite of Mrs. Go Figures, and I suspect this will be disappearing from the collection and reappearing somewhere near her. But yeah, it's the little bonus that they've thrown in with the deluxe edition, and really, really well sculpted it is too. And the paint applications and sculpt on this for a 6 scale animal are exemplary, I have to say. Sometimes when you get to these kind of accessories, they're not the best sculpted in the world, but even down to the detailing on this little chap, Inart have gone that extra mile. So yeah, paint applications on there are really nice. The eyes are well done, even down to some gradiated paint applications on his feet there. He gets a little red towards the end of his paws. So yeah, that's Usul, so we'll pop him to one side. You also get the Mauler pistol. Now I've already got this Mauler pistol extended. It comes compacted almost because it's got a fold-away handle, and the reason I have extended is it is quite delicate. So I would say exercise caution with this. You're looking at all one piece of sculpted plastic, bar the spring in the spring-loaded section in the barrel there. Now I believe that is supposed to close when you push it back in, but on this one it doesn't want to. Maybe it doesn't. I will check the instructions, but yeah, really nice paint application. You've got sort of a goldy brass colouring going on in there, and those silver paint applications to give it that metallic look. And it is hinged. This handle is hinged, and it pops back up like this and then snaps into place. If I can do this on camera, yeah, and it clicks back into place, and then that section is supposed to clip away there, but for some reason on this one it's not doing that. But yeah, to open it you need to get your fingernail into that gap there, and this is where it can feel like you're going to break it, so I would say exercise caution. Get your fingernail in there and then just slide the handle out, and then it clips into place in the barrel of the Mauler itself. So yeah, that's your Mauler pistol, nicely done, if a little delicate. You also get his Kajal dagger and Holtzman shield. Just one piece of sculpted plastic on a piece of elastic, and the screen accuracy is there. There's some nice coloration, there's some greens in there. What struck me straight away about this is it's attached to the figure by taking off a hand and just simply sliding it over the wrist, but they've even weathered the elastic strap that if the light's catching that goes around the sides there. So yeah, next level attention to detail here from Inart. So pop that to one side. Cry's knife, all one piece of sculpted plastic again. The sheath is relatively straightforward and simple, not an awful lot going on here. There's that design towards the top of the sheath itself, but it's nicely done, and once again screen accurate. The Cry's knife itself, now I think this is really, really well done here. I think the sculpt and paint application here is outstanding, particularly on that blade. But on the handle, you've got paint applications there to give it that wood effect. You've got that silver section of the handle there, which is really nicely done, and the Fremen writing across the top has even been sculpted in there. It's the grading of the paint applications on here to give it that ivory effect that really impressed me. It starts off sort of a darker brown here and then lightens up as you go down the length of the blade, which is the tooth of Shai Hulud, and they've even sculpted in that pattern into the base of the blade itself as well. So yes, there you have it, the Cry's knife, the tooth of Shai Hulud. Really, really well done. I am liking that a lot. You have two pairs of now I'm trying to remember what these are. Yeah, sorry, these aren't the binoculars, these are the paracompasses. So much going on here, it's difficult to remember what everything is. Yeah, you get two versions of the paracompass. This is the open version, and there is a closed version in the frame kit, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But yeah, great sculpt and paint application here on such a small item. There's silvers on there, there's greys, there's some green paint application in the center there, even down to, and if the camera's picking this up, even down to the sides here, and this is absolutely tiny detail where my finger is there. There's some grips on the side which have been sculpted in as well. So yeah, that's your open version of the paracompass. So we might as well look at the frame kit now, because there is a closed paracompass in there. Gotta say, I think this is really well done. Lesser companies would have sculpted this in plastic and away you go, but not Inart. They've gone all in and they've given us a functioning frame kit, virtually anyway. The top section here is all sculpted plastic, as is this bottom section and this attached piece here, which is attached by these silver clips at the bottom. This is sculpted plastic. The base section here is material. It's sort of a canvas material with these canvas straps going on. Once again, they've even weathered these canvas straps on the frame kit and at the top here as well. Even down to that, they've weathered those, which is and I'm banging on about weathering here, but I think this is some of the best weathering I have seen on any 1/6 scale figure ever. I think a lot of manufacturers can go too heavy. Some manufacturers don't do any at all where it's needed. Here, I think Inart have nailed it on from the weathering on the front section here, which is obviously meant to look like a canvas, but that's plastic, but it's that sculpt that gives it that material look. And a lot of things here are deceptive because they're sculpted plastic but come off as material. But the weathering on here, on this round section at the bottom, great. The top section here has got some of that cloak material wrapped around it, which is screen accurate, with these two sections here, these metal sections which are actually plastic, but they've been given a black dry brushing to give them that metallic look. The party piece for this thing, I mean, even down to the hinges on the outside here, these plastic hinges, these have been weathered as well. There's a tiny little plastic sort of lip there, and if you get your thumbnail underneath that, the whole thing opens up and reveals the interior. The inside has been weathered as well. If the camera's catching this, the inside of these hinges has been weathered too. And what you've got on the inside is the bodkin knife, I believe. You've got the closed paracompass. You have the sand compactor, and you have the telescope as well. Now, these are not the easiest things to get out, and as we all know, Mr. Gofinger has sausage fingers. Mr. Gofinger, Mr. Go figure even. But if you lift that off, and it clips in. Now, there are two plastic clips that slot it into place on the inside there, if you can see those, and they correspond here. Getting these things in and out is not the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, you've got your closed paracompass. This looks like it wants to slide out, this sand compactor, so we'll take that out like that. Great paint applications here, great sculpt again, weathering on point, and just really, really nicely done. That compactor, so we'll pop that to one side. I am not going to attempt to get the compass out, and if the camera's catching this, you can see that there's a couple of sort of stud sections on the plastic pieces that fall over and hold the accessories in place, and they clip into two small holes in there. Now, the rest of the fold over piece is actually attached. Now, I don't want to overstretch this. That sand compactor will come out relatively easily from the front. But the section over the top of the telescope is a lot flatter, and I really don't want to overstretch it. You can see it lifts there, and then but I don't want to put too much pressure on that. So take my word for it. There is a telescope underneath there, and we'll just use the Christ knife here to bring out the bodkin, which is in a canvas sheath as well. And you've also got these what look like rations on the other side of the flap, which are just sculpted in. And there's even writing here and little pictures of the items that are in the frame kit. So yeah, that's the frame kit. We will pop that to one side as well, and it will take me a good hour to put that thing back together before the showcase. So what else have we got? His mask. Yeah. Now, the mask itself is sculpted plastic. It's on a piece of elastic at the back here. This is the level of sculpt detailing here, which I really think sets Inart apart, is that it's very difficult to tell the transition between the elastic strap at the back of this mask and what is actually the front part of the mask, which is sculpted plastic. It is that good. But yeah, the front section is weathered really nicely. The screen accuracy is there. It's got that deep olive green colour, which runs throughout a lot of the still suit outfits. So yeah, that's the mask for use with this head sculpt. Before we take a look at the head sculpt, let's have a quick look at this base. And this is where things tend to go a little bit wrong for me with Inart. Yeah, it's a very impressive base to look at. Now, I'll lift this up because what will happen is it will leave this circular section behind. But we'll take a look at the bottom first, because this is where it begins to offend me. And I'm going to put that back on, but I'm not going to close it, and there's a reason for that. Now, this circular section, I mean, there are no feet on here. It would have been nice to see some felt feet to avoid slippage in the display, but it is what it is. I have, this is my third Inart figure, and every base that I have had with every one of these figures has suffered with the same problem, and it drives me up the wall. It's this circular section in the centre here. Now, people who own Inart figures will know what you're supposed to do here. Now, there are 2 dots on either side here, and then there's a separate dot there. Now, these lines underneath these arrows align with those dots. Now, 1 dot indicates closed and 2 dots indicates open, and what you're supposed to do is put your thumbs onto or on or around where those arrow sections are, and twist, apply a little bit of pressure and move the circular section around until it detaches itself. I have yet to have an Inart figure where this works. It just doesn't work, and you have to put that much pressure on that you're at risk of actually damaging the base itself, because it is hollow plastic. I end up, as always, is getting a small tool and having to push very, very gently on either side. You have to be super careful doing that, because if it slips, you're going to rip this this sticker that's on the bottom here with all, well, this says Dune and Paul Atreides with all the details on it, or you're just going to damage the plastic. So come on, Inart, get a grip. Accessing the magnetic function underneath needs to be done better than this. When you've done everything else so very, very well, why go and chuck this into the mix? But you know, it is what it is. So when it's open, it comes off, and you are greeted with the 2 movable magnets underneath. Now, it's on a rail system, as with all Inart figures, and you can put your thumbs on here and you can move the magnets themselves either up and down that way, or you can move them in and out that way as well, so depending on what the pose that you're wanting to go for. Now, it doesn't look like there's been any change here. I won't know about the strength of the magnets till we get the figure on this stand, but my past experience has been of these that they're not the best. They could take maybe a lesson for somebody like Caustic Plastic or something like that. This magnet solution doesn't work. The magnets are too small, they're not strong enough, yeah, but we'll see if there's been any improvements when we bring the figure out. But overall, yeah, this whole access and magnet arrangement to me needs to be revised by Inart. It doesn't work for me. But that being said, when you flip this thing round, what does work for me is the top of this base. Now, it's all one piece of sculpted plastic, as I mentioned, and I really, really like this. It's subtle. They could have gone over the top here with a diorama base. What they've chosen to do is sort of replicate part of the palace on Arrakeen, in Arrakeen rather, and I think they've done really, really well here. They've caught that sort of pseudo Art Nouveau, Art Deco look that we mentioned at the top there. But yeah, paint applications are really nice. It's got that sandy colour. The detailing has been picked out with paint washes on the edges here, and I love it just says Paul, it doesn't say Paul Atreides, it just says Paul and Dune in that gold highlighted lettering on the front there. So overall, yeah, I mean, I think the sculpt and the paint applications are great, and I think it looks fantastic. However, this needs to change in art, in my opinion. So yeah, there you have it. That's the base. Let's pop that base to one side, and let's take a look at the all-important head sculpts. Now, this figure comes with 2 head sculpts. You get the masked head sculpt and the unmasked head sculpt. We'll take a look at the masked head sculpt first. Relatively simple, this one, but I think they've done a fantastic job. And the first thing I noticed out the box was how this sculpted plastic, which surrounds 90% of the head, which is meant to be material, actually looks like material. But when you touch it, it feels like material as well. It's just, I don't know what kind of magic in art have worked here, what kind of strangeness has been going on, and how the hell they did that, but it looks like material and feels like material. So yeah, this is the masthead sculpt, and straight away you can tell that this is Timothy Chalamet. The eyes, now how they've done this is quite frightening, but they've just to be able to recognize a person's face from their eyes is not the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, We'll talk about the paint applications and the sculpt on this when we bring the rooted hair head sculpt out. But yeah, weathering on the front of that mask. It has the moving eye system here, and I believe that you just simply grip the head, he said confidently, and I hope this works. Yeah, there we go. Grip it at the front there, and it's magnetically attached. And there's obviously two magnets on the front and the back of the head there, and then you've got access to that moving eye system there. No little tool like you get with Hot Toys, but the good news is there's plenty of room to get your finger in there to move those two joysticks around to move the eyes, and you simply waggle them around and the eyes will move. And you can position them wherever you want. So yeah, and putting this thing back on is relatively simple as well. I would recommend going with the nose section in first and then tilting the head back in. But yeah, that's the masked head sculpt. Let's take a look at the sculpted hair, rooted hair rather, head sculpt now. Like in this little box that this clear box that the head sculpt comes in, but we'll take that off if it will come off on camera, he said confidently. And yeah, don't want to break it. And there we go. And yeah, and okay, so the head sculpt. First impressions, I've got to say, very good. Obviously, I'd seen photographs of this head sculpt prior to picking this up. I'm hoping the light is doing this justice. That is absolutely frighteningly good. I was super impressed recently with the Hot Toys Jack Sparrow, but I think this might have got it beaten. This is quite possibly some of the best 1/6 scale sculpting and paint application I've seen on a head sculpt yet. The skin tones, I'm hoping that the camera is doing this justice. It could, I know it's a cliche, but I think it could very well be one of those ones that's far superior in hand. Sculpt 100%, that is Timothy Chalamet, absolutely 100%. The paint applications are on this face to capture his skin tone and texture are absolutely on point, even down to some slight blemishes. If the camera's catching this, some slight dark spots there on the left hand side of his face. The lips are brilliantly sculpted. I like the expression they've gone for here as well. They've gone for that sort of neutral look, because this has got moving eyes as well. I think this will come to life when you maybe set the eyes off to one side. But yeah, skin texturing is phenomenal. Paint applications are amazing. The lightness is 100% there for me. Those eyes are nice and glassy. Those eyebrows are really well painted. Let's take a look at this rooted hair. Now, what Inart have done here is they've treated this hair. This is not, this hasn't just been sort of stuck on as an afterthought, shall we say. It's got that hard quality to it. There is some movement in there, but not a huge amount. So if you are wanting to futz it a little bit, then there is that possibility that you can move it ever so slightly. But I wouldn't really recommend doing that. I think just straight out of the box this way, it looks fantastic. The colouring is just right, that parting in the centre there, the way it gets straggly and bushes out ever so slightly, how it's choppy in the nape of the neck, all absolutely on point. This is obviously a fixed neck head sculpt, and I believe it's magnetically attached. Let's see if we can't get it off. I know first time these things can be a little bit problematic, as we discovered the other day with the Jack Sparrow. That didn't want to come off the this is absolutely not wanting to come off. No, that is not wanting to move. We will do that between takes. I don't want to damage the head sculpt. So yeah, that is spooky. It really, really is. Now to access the, I believe, I'm hoping I've got this right. To access the moving eyes, you have to lift off the back section of this hair. Now I'm going to refer to the instruction manual before I attempt to do that. So yeah, there's the head sculpt, and absolutely incredible it is too. So without further ado, let's bring out the figure itself. Let's get this amazing head sculpt onto that figure and see what it looks like when it's all put together. Okay folks, so it's the Kwisatz Haderach himself, straight out of the box, straight onto the stand and turntable, and first impressions. One word: phenomenal. Proportions absolutely on point. That still suit looks amazing. We've already talked about the head sculpt. The weathering, the attention to detail just looks completely nailed on as far as I can tell. Not without a few niggles though that came out of putting the figure together, and we'll get to those. But we'll do as we always do. We will have a close-up look at him. We'll stop him from spinning and get him off this stand and get him up close. We've altered the lighting ever so slightly here because we use a sort of a bright white light for the accessories section, and that sometimes doesn't do the head sculpt justice. So I've altered it ever so slightly, but hopefully it will be bright enough to see the details on the outfit. Also worth mentioning at this point as well, when you saw Mr. Go Figure behaving like a spoon, trying to pull the head sculpt off that head sculpt stand, he should have read his instructions first. Don't do what I do. Don't try and pull it off. If you do get this figure, it's simply a 90-degree twist to one side and then it will slide off. So yeah, we don't want any damaged head sculpts out there. So yeah, and a lesson to me to read my instructions first. But swiftly moving on. So let's get him off this stand and get him up close into the camera. And these magnets, I have to say as well at this point, do feel stronger than the Batman figure. They are gripping quite nicely here, which is nice to see. So maybe not the complete disaster this time round with the base, but yeah, time will tell with those magnets. But yeah, so far holding securely. But let's have a look at this outfit. We will start at the bottom and work our way up as we always do. These boots now, very, very screen accurate, sculpted plastic here. Weathering, as with the weathering all over this figure and the accessories, is absolutely on point. Sculpt is on point too. They've even sculpted the soles and weathered the soles, which is nice to see. Articulation here. Now I don't know, I'm assuming these are pegged directly in, but they're nice and stiff, not too stiff, but you've got a decent amount of resistance there, which makes it feel solid and well put together. And probably worth mentioning at this point as well is the weight of this figure. Now the outfit itself isn't going to come in at that much weight, I don't think, because you're looking at a sort of a canvas and plastic and possibly some rubber in there as well, maybe. No, I don't think there's rubber. I think it's probably just a softer plastic, but the outfit itself won't come in at that much weight, so I'm assuming this is the body, the weight of the body and the quality of the body. It feels like a really, really high quality body under here. But yeah, articulation in those feet is good. You've got left to right, you've got forward and backward movement, up to the legs. Now the outfit itself is this sort of solid canvas type material, which is layered over the top of other materials as well. Well, I say other materials. There are sort of gaps in the material where you see these plastic sections coming through and these plastic sections stuck on. But overall, yeah, the quality of the material feels really good. It feels like a solid canvas. The stitch work is excellent all the way down. Across these shin protector areas, these straps across the top of the boots, and it looks like they've gone for the desert fashion fitting of the still suit itself. Overall, yeah, really, really good quality. Although there is a mark there which I've just noticed on that flap. I don't know what that is. Is that weathering or is that something else? We'll take a closer look at that later. But yeah, overall the layers are done really, really well. You've got these gaps in the knees. These knee pads and protectors are sculpted plastic. They're weathered as well. Let's check the knee articulation. Oh, that's a really nice smooth ratchet joint going on there. Yeah, there's multiple clicks within that ratchet. Feels really, really well made and well put together. Goes up to about a 45-degree angle there. Around the back, you've got, and this is where the layered material starts at the back of the knees here. You've got this different type of material with this, it's more striped and more shiny. You've got buckles around the backs of the ankles there. And as you can see, these multiple layers are stitched together. And moving up, you've got these sections on the back of the thighs, which are plastic, and once again, these are weathered. You move up to this sort of ribbed, and this feels like a soft plastic here. This material just underneath his posterior, which is pretty good, and there's a decent amount of movement in these legs. You've got the thing to remember here, I think, with articulation is that this figure is pretty much clad from head to toe in this suit, so it's going to limit articulation. It looks like they've done pretty well at the knees there. The legs at the top there, let's have a look. You're not going to get that much sort of sideways motion here because of the crotch area, and you don't want to damage that. And the forward and backward in these legs is not vast either. Yeah, I think it's this is down to the suit. I think it was always going to limit articulation, so it's a compromise really. But moving up, yeah, this crotch area, sculpted plastic with this belt arrangement going on, all weathered really nicely. It comes around the back here. You've got these. You've got more sections that have been weathered. You've got these straps at the side which are canvas. This sort of chest plate area is sculpted plastic. Once again, very accurate to the film, and really nicely weathered. Not overdone, not underdone like the rest of the figure. Chest plate at the front here has got the moisture collecting pipe from where he breathes out. It goes around the back of the neck and is attached in the chest area. You can attach this to the nose apparently, but I don't think I'll be doing that. I mean, it's simply a case of clipping it, of taking this and clipping it up into the nostril area, but I don't think I'll be going for that look, simply because I don't want to risk discolouring this head sculpt at all, but it is a look you can sport if you want to. Shoulder pads, sculpted plastic over this canvas suit again, and it's that deep olive green that we talked about. The plastic sections on the front are black and weathered, but the canvas suit underneath is that deep olive green, which, as I say, we're sick of me saying this, screen accurate, but it is. You've got these sections that I believe have been glued to the canvas here, which at the bicep area, once again weathered. You've got these elbow sections here, which they do move. There is some give in those, although they are attached underneath the canvas suit. Let's see what we're looking at in range of motion with these arms, because I would imagine that'd be quite limited down to these sections here. But oh, and that's a hand falling off. Let's reattach that hand. Now, I was surprised actually, or what we're talking of hands, that these aren't magnetically attached. It is just a normal pegging system here, although they are slightly thicker than the average pegs that you see in a 6 scale figure. Let's just pop that hand back on, off camera. There we go. And they come off and go back on relatively easily, but as you can see there, when you apply pressure to the suit, when you're changing the hands out, it will pull that canvas material down, so you might need a bit of futzing just to get it back into shape there. But overall, yeah, let's have a look at the yeah, not a vast amount in these arms either, because that plastic section there, as I mentioned before, is getting in the way a little bit. So yeah, you're going to be limited here in arm movement and leg movement, and I don't think there's going to be much of there's virtually no twist at the waist and no ab crunch of which to speak. So it'll be interesting when we get to the showcase just to see how far we can push this figure. I'm not going to push it too far because I don't want to damage it, but overall, yeah, I think Inart have done a superb job here. The head sculpt, now we've already spoken about the head sculpt, but what we haven't spoken about is how you get this head sculpt on, and herein lies one of the biggest niggles with this figure, is swapping out these head sculpts. Now, Inart have actually done a video on how you should do this, you know, I'll try and pop a link to that actually in the description below, because it is an absolute ball ache. It really is. The way I've done it is, and it's magnetically attached, and obviously it's a fixed neck head sculpt. God, I always struggle saying that. So it's got to go down underneath this section of the neck here. Now, to do this is incredibly difficult. What you've got to do is lift up this hooded section until it comes over the lip head. Then you've got to futz it down and hold it down. The actual connector itself needs turning all the way forward. Then you've somehow got to try and squeeze this head into the tiniest of gaps, and it can be a bit of a heart stopper, because all the time you're doing this and trying to get this head into position, you're gripping the head, which is I'm not saying in danger of damaging the hair, but I believe it's a soft polyurethane, this hair. And I'm just really conscious of throwing out the style, because you're having to grip it that tightly when you're getting the head on and off. I think this is going to be one of those figures where you swap out the head sculpt once and then it pretty much stays with the head sculpt that you've got. I do like this this sort of masked head sculpt, but I don't think I'll be using it that often, simply because it is so difficult to swap these head sculpts out. So yeah, maybe Inart could have come up with a better solution than that. Also as well, the moving eye system, that once again is something that is a bit of a heart stopper. The whole back section of the head comes off. Now I found the easiest way to do this, to access it, because it is it's well concealed in the head, is to try and get your thumb into the hairline just under here, and you'll feel it when you find it. You'll feel a lip, and then just give it a pull, and the whole back of the head lifts off. And if I can twist my arm around there and keep this in shot, you can access the two joysticks at the back of the head there. Now, the only thing, as I can see, holding this magnetic section onto the head when you've got it unattached like this, is the hair itself. That worries me over time. If you are altering those eyes on a regular basis, could this thing fall off? I'm not sure. It doesn't feel secure when it's just being held on by the hair. But yeah, I think I don't think I'll be doing much fiddling around with this once it's set up in the display. I think it's going to be one of those figures that tends to stay static for long periods of time. But yeah, once you've futzed around with those eyes and got them where you want them to be, it's simply a case of slotting that back down into place. The head itself, because it is so tight in there, that restricts the movement as well. You've got some side-to-side movement here, but once again, don't want to damage that hair or throw it out of whack, which can be done if you're gripping the head too often. Very little forward or backward movement, as you can see. Now, that might be because part of this hooded section here at the back might be trapped, and I don't know. And this is another one of the niggles as well, is when you finally do get that thing on, you don't know whether that's actually as far down as it should be, that head sculpt, because could it be caught on the hood? But I don't think it is. But yeah, limited articulation all over with this figure, really. But you know, as I say, it's a compromise with the nature of the outfit that he's wearing. So let's get him back on the stand. I think what we should do as well is, before we go in for final thoughts and then finish off with the showcases, we should just take a quick look at him fully outfitted. So over to Desert Fashion Outfit. Okay folks, so here he is, Muad'Dib Desert Fashion, with some, if not all, of the accessories attached. And I've got to say, looks even more impressive when fully kitted out. So yeah, time for final thoughts and a score on this guy. But before we do that, I thought what we would do is just quickly bring in his dad for a bit of a scale comparison. So I'll just get him off this turntable. We'll put the turntable to one side and move him over a little bit, and bring in Duke Leto. Slightly taller on this Org Toys base here, but as you can see, they scale up pretty well against each other. Obviously, Duke Leto, slightly bigger guy, slightly thicker set. Paul, a lot slimmer, but yeah, they work well together and make a good pairing, and have the Gurney Halleck as well. So we'll probably see all three of those in the showcase at the end. Probably what we won't be seeing in the showcase at the end, though, is very much of the swap out head sculpt. But yeah, let's go in for final thoughts. Let's put Duke Leto to one side. Let's get Paul back on that turntable, and herein lies one of the niggles. We'll go with the niggles first, and I am just going to try and get this guy back on the turntable without him falling off this stand, without him dropping too many of the accessories, which he's already doing. Now let's start him spinning again. So yeah, I so wanted to give this figure a 10 out of 10. I've been looking forward to this figure for a long time. One of my favourite characters. I was really looking forward to seeing what Inart did with it. And I think in many respects they have done a superb job. Without doubt, in certain areas, it is one of the best 1/6 scale figures I've ever seen. That head sculpt is absolutely phenomenal. It's frighteningly good. I thought I had seen the best Paul Atreides head sculpt with the Prime 1 and Blitzway Studios quarter scale statue, and there's a review for that on the channel if you wanted to check it out. But this actually beats it. That head sculpt on its own will be a straight 10 out of 10. The outfit is phenomenal. The screen accuracy is amazing. The materials that they've used and the craftsmanship, all on point. The body is excellent. But unfortunately, I can't give this a 10. And there's a few reasons for that. And we'll start at the bottom with the base. That magnet system needs changing. He's fallen off this base twice already, and that's not because the magnets aren't strong enough, it's because of the positioning of the feet and how limited you are with those magnets, and those magnets being in the heels. He then wants to lean and is inherently unstable. So points off for that. Points off for that access mechanism. To get in and out of the base. It simply doesn't work. You get it off once, I get it off once, then I leave it off. Other niggles, the frame kit. Now, on attaching the frame kit, it loops over the shoulder here, and what you have to do is take one of these canvas straps, get it through one of these buckles here, and then loop it back on itself, and it velcros underneath. Now, the loop on the buckle itself is big enough for the canvas strap, but not big enough for the velcro section that's attached to the end of it. Now, 6 scale figure collectors will probably have encountered this at some point in the past as well. You have to force the velcro section through, the small velcro section at the end through, which wants to shred it. It starts to peel. If you're taking this frame kit on and off on a regular basis, that thing's just going to fall apart, and then you're going to have to find another solution for it. So that's another niggle. Probably my biggest gripe though is swapping out the head sculpts. Now, it shouldn't take 45 minutes to swap out a head sculpt with a figure. It just shouldn't, not in 2025. And with all the time and effort that Inart have put into this, I think they could have come up with a better solution than the one they've got here. And it really, really is a world-class ball ache swapping the head sculpt out. You'll probably see in the showcase at the end that the head sculpt doesn't get swapped out at all. But yeah, so that's the final gripe there. And these gripes are going to affect the score. And as I say, so want to give it a 10, but it can't be a 10, unfortunately. I'm hovering somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9 at the moment. On a good day, an 8.5. On a bad day, an 8. I'm going to go 8.5, maybe 9 even. But points have got to come off for these things. Sometimes it's about the ease of use as well as how good a figure looks. It can be the best looking figure in the world, but if you can't do anything with it simply because the head sculpt doesn't fit on, or you can't get it on, or the accessories are in danger of falling apart, then it takes all the fun out of what essentially is an action figure that should be posed and that should be swapped out and should be changed up in your display. So yeah, let's go with an 8.59 on this one. And it's a shame, as I say, because I had huge hopes for this, but if I was scoring the outfit and the head sculpt on their own, it would be a flat 10. In fact, I'll put my neck on the chopping block and say that is the best 1/6 scale head sculpt ever. So there you have it, folks. That is Paul Atreides, courtesy of Inart. What are your thoughts on this piece? Do you have it in your collection? Have you got it on pre-order? What are your thoughts on Inart? What are your thoughts on Dune, the movies? Nothing's off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. And I hope this review's been useful for you. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, loads and loads of new figures coming in. We've got new reviews, retro reviews on the new review front. We have got stuff from Inart, from Hot Toys, from Caustic Plastic, Susu Toys, Mars Toys, Present Toys, the list goes on. We've also got more episodes of Don't Make Me Choose, more episodes of Grail or Fail. So as I mentioned at the top there, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the good stuff. And I suppose all that remains for me to say, from Muad'Dib and myself, take care of yourself, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.